on today is for one intent and purpose, and that is to talk about the Senate bill that is being discussed now, which is Senate Bill 419. And specifically today, speaking to the removal of school board members in what they are considering in the State Department of Education as failing schools, or rather being deemed or considered as failing schools. I know that our association did hold a press conference on last week in regards to this same issue and spoke directly in this regard on the amendments that they offered up to our legislators that were not heard. So on today, we felt the need as a caucus of Black school board members to come to the Capitol and to share our concerns on the removal of school board members across the state if their school districts are being considered as failing. Now, it is my understanding that this could be a direct violation of our civil rights as well as the civil rights of our voters, our constituents, our communities. At the end of the day, we are elected by the same constituents that elect our legislators. So we want to make sure, we want to ensure that this practice is fair and that it is consistent to all. On today, I would like at this time to ask Mr. Scott Price, who is our Executive Director of the School Board Association, to come and just share with you all a legal opinion that has been provided to them that kind of speaks to what we're talking about. Mr. Price?
Thank you, President Harris. I just want to reiterate the general findings and analysis that the School Boards Association had conducted that led to a legal opinion that we addressed last week at a press conference. In its implementation, we feel that there is a direct violation of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and it's likely going to be due to the disparate impact on voters in 6 districts that we have identified as being eligible for takeover by the state and automatic dissolution under the amendment that's being proposed in the Senate. And I just wanted to again reiterate this is an opinion that we had produced, and if you check with us afterwards, we can make that available to you this afternoon. And at this time,
thank you, Mr. Price. Again, as Mr. Price has shared with you, the caucus finds this information rather disturbing. That in light of the fact that many of these districts that are being taken over, or even being considered for takeover, are majority African American school districts. That is alarming to us, and that is very concerning to us. Our school boards are the governing body, and they have a plethora of responsibilities to not only the students but to the community. These are the voices that the constituents and the people of the community send to office to represent and to serve them. And for them to be removed because their schools are being considered as failing is simply unfair. I think that one of the things that we have to consider is that we have to have real conversation about education in the state of South Carolina. I think we have to talk about the fact that we as a state rank last in things that we should be first in. And a lot of times we rank first in things that we should be last in. Unfortunately, one of those things is education. But at the end of the day, as school board members, we must work with the hands that are dealt to us. When we have unfunded mandates and things not being funded appropriately and things of that magnitude, all of these things affect the flow of school districts. Myself personally serve here in Richland 1, and it's a very unique district because it's urban, it's suburban, and it's rural. It has 52 schools. But with that being said, the education and the resources that we have to put in certain communities because of the lack of Wi-Fi accessibility and things of that nature are great. But we have to do what we have to do as educators to make sure that these students have the tools that they need necessary in being resourceful. At this time, I want to pause because I would like to bring Mr. Jim Felder to the mic, who is here from the NAACP for the state of South Carolina. He is the chairman of the Political Actions Committee. We want to hear from him before I conclude my remarks on today. Mr. Felder.
Thank you very much. Brenda Murphy, who's the state conference president, could not be here, but I chair the Political Action Committee and represent her in the state conference. The civil rights, the Voting Rights Act of 1965 was pushed through by Lyndon Johnson to deal with situations like this, to include people's voices, those who have not been involved in the process. In my opinion, it's a violation of the spirit of the law and the law itself to allow an elected school board to be dissolved. Now, what the Senate should be doing, and the government, is providing more resources to help those districts that are in trouble instead of trying to take them over and manage them. So the NAACP stands here today with the School Boards Association to support whatever needs to be done to not allow this to happen.